host. This is We-On-Loc Nation. I'm just going to replay the video of Trump just running his mouth yesterday. If you're here, like, share, subscribe to the channel, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Well, let's get it.
Good evening, America. 11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country, which caused prices to be higher than ever before, making life unaffordable for millions and millions of Americans. This happened during a Democrat administration, and it's when we first began hearing the word affordability. Our border was open, and because of this, our country was being invaded by an army of 25 million people, many who came from prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. They were drug dealers, gang members, and even 11,888 murderers, more than 50% of whom killed more than one person. This is what the Biden administration allowed to happen to our country, and it can never be allowed to happen again. We had men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, crime at record levels, with law enforcement, and words such as that just absolutely forbidden. We had the worst trade deals ever made, and our country was laughed at from all over the world, but they're not laughing anymore. Over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in American history. There's never been anything like it, and I think most would agree. I was elected in a landslide, winning the popular vote and all 7 swing states and everything else, with a mandate to take on a sick and corrupt system that really just took the wealth from people and crushed the dreams of the American people. For the last 4 years, the United States was ruled by politicians who fought only for insiders, illegal aliens, career criminals, corporate lobbyists, prisoners, terrorists, and above all, foreign nations, which took advantage of us at levels never seen before. They flooded your cities and towns with illegal aliens. They decimated your hard-earned savings. They indoctrinated your children with hate for America. They just released a level of violent felons that we had never seen to prey on innocent. They caused war. They caused mayhem. They caused a horrible situation all over the globe. But now you have a president who fights for the law-abiding, hardworking people of our country, the ones who make this nation run, who make this nation work. And after just 1 year, we have achieved more than anyone could have imagined. Starting on day one, I took immediate action to stop the invasion of our southern border. For the past 7 months, 0 illegal aliens have been allowed into our country, a feat which everyone said was absolutely impossible. Do you remember when Joe Biden said that he needed Congress to pass legislation to help close the border? He was always blaming Congress and everyone else. As it turned out, we didn't need legislation. We just needed a new president. We inherited the worst border anywhere in the world, and we quickly turned it into the strongest border in the history of our country. In other words, in a few short months, we went from worst to best. We're deporting criminals, restoring safety to our most dangerous cities. Just take a look at Washington, D.C. It's at levels of safety that we've never seen before. And they decimated the bloodthirsty foreign drug cartels. We did that all by ourselves with our people, and we're so proud of it because they were poisoning and destroying our population. Drugs brought in by ocean and by sea are now down 94%. We have broken the grip of sinister woke radicals in our schools, and control over those schools is back now in the hands of our great and loving states where education belongs. After rebuilding the United States military in my first term, and with the addition we are adding right now, we have the most powerful military anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, destroyed the Iran nuclear threat, and ended the war in Gaza, bringing for the first time in 3,000 years peace to the Middle East, and secured the release of the hostages, both living and dead. Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. The last administration and their allies in Congress looted our treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at levels never seen before. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22% and in many states 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 31%. Now under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast. Democrat politicians also sent the cost of groceries soaring, but we are solving that too. The price of a Thanksgiving turkey was down 33% compared to the Biden last year. The price of eggs is down 82% since March, and everything else is falling rapidly. And it's not done yet, but boy, are we making progress. Nobody can believe what's going on. Here are just some of the efforts that we have underway. You will see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year. After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation. Remember that. The wages, just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that? Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history, and 100% of all jobs created since I took office have been in the private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government, which is the only way to make a country powerful and great. This historic trend will continue. Already, I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increases, growth, factory openings, and far greater national security. Much of this success has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word, tariffs, which for many decades have been used successfully by other countries against us, but not anymore. Companies know that if they build in America, there are no tariffs, and that's why they're coming home to the USA in record numbers. They're building factories and plants at levels we haven't seen, AI, automobiles. We're doing what nobody thought was even possible, not even remotely possible. There has never, frankly, been anything like it. 1 year ago, our country was dead. We were absolutely dead. Our country was ready to fail, totally failed. Now, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. And that's said by every single leader that I've spoken to over the last 5 months. Next year, you will also see the results of the largest tax cuts in American history that were really accomplished through our great, big, beautiful bill, perhaps the most sweeping legislation ever passed in Congress. We wrapped 12 different bills up into one beautiful bill. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Under these cuts, many families will be saving between $11,000 and $20,000 a year, and next spring is projected to be the largest tax refund season of all time. Because of tariffs, along with the just passed One Big Beautiful Bill, tonight I am also proud to announce that more than 1,450,000, think of this, 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special, we call warrior dividend before Christmas, a warrior dividend in honor of our nation's founding in 1776. We are sending every soldier $1,776. Think of that. And the checks are already on the way. Nobody understood that one until about 30 minutes ago. We made a lot more money than anybody thought because of tariffs, and the bill helped us along. Nobody deserves it more than our military, and I say congratulations to everybody. And by the way, we now have record enlistment in our military, and last year we had among the worst recruitment numbers in our military's history. What a difference a year makes. In addition, I'm doing what no politician of either party has ever done, standing up to the special interests to dramatically reduce the price of prescription drugs. I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward. And I used the threat of tariffs to get foreign countries who would never have done it to pay the cost of this giant dollar reduction. They stopped ripping us off, and it began as of 4 days ago. There has never been anything like this in the history of our country. Drugs have only gone up, but now they'll be going down by numbers never conceived possible. It's called most favored nation. And no president has ever had the courage or ability to get this done until now. The first of these unprecedented price reductions will be available starting in January through a new website, trumprx.gov. And these big price cuts will greatly reduce the cost of health care. I'm also taking on the gigantic health insurance companies that have gotten rich on billions of dollars of money that should go directly to the people. The money should go to the people, that's you, so they can buy their own health insurance, which will give far better benefits at much lower cost. It will be far better health insurance. The current Unaffordable Care Act was created to make insurance companies rich. It was bad health care at much too high a cost. And you see that now in the steep increase in premiums being demanded by the Democrats, and they are demanding those increases, and it's their fault. It is not the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Unaffordable Care Act, and everybody knew it. Again, I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care. You'll get much better health care at a much lower price. The only losers will be insurance companies that have gotten rich, and the Democrat Party, which is totally controlled by those same insurance companies. They will not be happy, but that's okay with me, because you, the people, are finally going to be getting great health care at a lower cost. Another major focus is the cost of energy. For years, the radical left Democrats exploited the green energy scam as an excuse to funnel many billions of dollars into their own massive slush funds, as their energy restrictions drastically drove up prices, and they drove them up at record levels. Electricity costs surged 30 to 100% under Biden, and the typical family lost $5,000 to $10,000 in higher energy costs. Think of that, $5,000 to $10,000 you lost. On day one, I declared a national energy emergency. Gasoline is now under $2.50 a gallon in much of the country. In some states, it, by the way, just hit $1.99 a gallon. And within the next 12 months, we will have opened 1,600 new electrical generating plants, a record, and it's a record that won't be beaten by practically, I would say, by anybody, or certainly not very soon. Prices on electricity and everything else will fall dramatically. The Democrat inflation disaster, again, the worst in the history of our country, also robbed millions of Americans of home ownership and indeed the American dream. The yearly cost of a typical new mortgage increased by $15,000 under Democrat rule. In 11 months, we've already gotten that annual cost down by $3,000, and it's coming down a lot lower. Wait till you see, the numbers are going to be shocking. And I'll soon announce our next chairman of the Federal Reserve, someone who believes in lower interest rates by a lot and mortgage payments will be coming down even further early the new year. And you will see this in the new year. I will announce some of the most aggressive housing reform plans in American history. A major factor in driving up housing costs was the colossal border invasion. We have never been invaded. This is the worst thing that, frankly, in my opinion, the worst thing that the Biden administration did to our country is the invasion at the border. The last administration and their allies in Congress brought in millions and millions of migrants and gave them taxpayer-funded housing while your rent and housing costs skyrocketed. Over 60% of growth in the rental market came from foreign migrants. At the same time, illegal aliens stole American jobs and flooded emergency rooms, getting free health care and education paid for by you, the American taxpayer. They also increased the cost of law enforcement by numbers so high that they are not even to be mentioned. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration as migrants go back home, leaving more housing and more jobs for Americans. In the year before my election, all net creation of jobs was going to foreign migrants. Since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American-born citizens, 100%. In the end, government either serves the productive, patriotic, hardworking American citizen, or it serves those who break the laws, cheat the system, and seek power and profit at the expense of our nation. Look at Minnesota, where Somalians have taken over the economics of the state and have stolen billions and billions of dollars from Minnesota and indeed from the United States of America. And we're going to put an end to it. For so long as before my election, the vast majority of good and decent Americans were forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power, exploited our taxpayers, and pillaged every system that makes civilized society function. But not anymore, and you see that every day, not anymore. We're putting America first, and we are making America great again. Very simple. We are making America great again. Tonight, after 11 months, our border is secure. Inflation is stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected. And our country is back, stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. Soon we will host the World Cup and the Olympics, both of which I got. But most importantly, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. There could be no more fitting tribute to this epic milestone than to complete the comeback of America that began just 1 year ago. When the world looks at us next year, let them see a nation that is loyal to its citizens, faithful to its workers, confident to its identity, certain to its destiny, and the envy of the entire globe. We are respected again like we have never been respected before. To each and every one of you, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless you all.
Yeah, so what did you think? Opinions. Do you think all that he had said is true? Or you think he's just full of shit? Comment in the comment section. Now, the next thing is the reactions. The reaction to Donald Trump's motor mouth running. And I'm going to start off here with, oh my.
I want to bring in
Jasmine
Democratic
Crockett
Congressman from Texas, Jasmine Crockett, who's also running the United States Senate. Congresswoman, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you. You heard the president speak tonight. You're hearing from members of the House as well, including the speaker. The president is blaming.
Oh, but first, I'm going to need for you to hit the like. Since y'all was talking, some of you was talking shit in the comment section, go ahead and hit that like button. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Oh, and of course, why don't you go and bless the chat, the super chat for a second. Why don't you go bless the super chat? As a matter of fact, the dude that was talking shit, why don't you bless me with a super chat? Ain't think I ain't catch what you said? Ah, his screen's dirty. Why don't you come help a brother out? Help a brother out. Go ahead and put some money on my books, bitch. But anyway, for the rest of yous, hello, good morning, good afternoon. How are you? Barb, how is your day? You looking lovely, I heard. You looking lovely this afternoon. Or this morning, because you're like 3 hours ahead of me. 3 hours ahead. But anyway, do you think that inflation is down or do you think it's up? Do you think inflation is down or do you think inflation is up? What did she put? I'll just do this. Ooh. Nope, that's bleach. I don't want to use bleach. I do not want to use bleach. You begging for the white man for your shit. Why can I beg my people? You beg for the white man, why can't I beg my people? I ain't beg. This ain't begging, this is called charity. The people have the right to either give or not give. I'll say it again. The people have the right to either give or not give. It is totally up to them. It is totally up to them. Go ahead, wipe that. Yeah, I just think he's full of shit. To me personally, I think he's full of shit. Because I just went to the grocery store and things are still the same. And got some news. Breaking news. 800 more people got their jobs took. 800 more people here in the United States got their jobs took. In Nevada, in California, and I think it was in Washington. I'm not sure. It was one of the. I do know it was in California, and I do know it was in Nevada. They let go at least counting the amount 800 people, and it's getting bad, or it's getting great. Is that what this is? It's getting great. French Toastman, thank you for the 10, my brother. Thank you for the 10. Sister, my brother, excuse me. I don't mean to offend you. I don't know if that's a brother or a sister, but either way, thank you for the 10 ball. Says Merry Christmas, friendo. Merry Christmas. Even though I don't celebrate Christmas, a Merry Christmas to you. Definitely a Merry Christmas to you. But like I said, let's get into the reaction, shall we?
Is a hop, skip, and a jump away, as are those premiums.
No. I would love to be your typical politician and give you some excuse, but at the end of the day, people are about to lose their health care. At the end of the day, there are people that are going to die as a result because some people just will not be able to afford to get life-saving care.
Does that mean Democrats ought to compromise to avoid that from happening? Or
I mean, if it's on Republicans. I mean, we don't control anything, as I just laid out. But more importantly, we are supposed to be in session until Friday. The speaker, he loves to run when things get tough. That's not leadership. That's cowardice. And so that is what he's decided to do. We saw this happen when it came down to the Epstein files. He decided to send Congress out. Right now, we are supposed to be in until Friday. He has decided that our last day is going to be tomorrow because he does not want to deal with the fact that we have a right discharge petition that is sitting in front of him that could not only help our constituents, but help his. I mean, it is really sad what we have devolved into in this country. We have Republicans that are too cowardice to actually represent the people that put them into office. And I think that, frankly, the people should show up and show them how they feel about people not looking out for them. We know that with the big ugly bill, we were going to lose about 17 million people when it came to Medicaid and Medicare alone. We know that there are community hospitals in rural areas as well as others that had already stated, because we are anticipating the budget and the shortfall, we are already going to say that we're closing. This is life or death. And so, for anyone that feels like, hey, I don't do politics, I like to tell people, you may not do politics, but politics will do you. Every single decision that takes place in your life, from whether or not you have a job, whether or not you can afford healthcare, whether or not you have a roof over your head, or whether or not you literally have access to healthcare, is a political decision.
Do you regret, given your description of Speaker Johnson's behavior as an act of cowardice, do you regret bailing him out essentially last May? Would you do that again?
Bailing him out how?
In the sense of voting to help in May of last year to ensure that he remains there?
Just to correct the record, I had anyway, I will just say that, because we changed it on the record. I actually voted in error. I'm going to be honest. But I will tell you this. I don't think that Speaker Johnson is equipped to handle the job. I don't think Speaker Johnson was ever equipped to handle the job. And I think that the cracks are showing through at this moment.
Well, how will Democrats capitalize on that then? Because obviously what you described just weeks from now, the loss of health insurance, the idea that most Americans, frankly, whether they like it or not, are one illness away from bankruptcy, let alone paycheck to paycheck. Given the dire predictions of this being inevitable, I mean, people are frustrated and they're scared. And you have a new poll suggesting, and the Marist poll, that now they believe that Democrats are edging out Republicans on the ability to handle the
French Toastman. Shout out your city. Go ahead and shout out your city real quick.
economy more efficiently. So how do you, as a member of Congress, and you'd like to be a member of the Senate, how do you capitalize on that to make sure the voters not only trust Democrats, but will believe you could actually accomplish it?
Damn. So the first thing is we can't be distracted. This president, there's a lot of things that I can say about him, but one thing that I can say is that he is a master of distraction. I will give him that. And so he likes to get people off on tangents. We've got to keep people focused. We've got to be disciplined, and we've got to continuously remind them as you are trying to deal with taking care of your mother or your grandmother or your grandfather, because now they may have to live with you because now they can't be in the assisted living that they normally could be in. As you're going to the grocery store and the costs have gone up, yet your pay has not gone up. It is important to remind people of the source of their pain. And so that is why right now the president, who is the source of the vast majority of the pain that the American people are feeling, wants to deflect and tell people, no, don't believe your lying eyes. This doesn't have anything to do with me. It has everything to do with Joe Biden, who I claim was senile and didn't know what he was doing. It's his fault, right? Like it's absolutely insane. And again, I think the numbers are showing. You can talk to me about polls, but as we know, a lot of people don't necessarily even trust polls.
Right.
But what you can't deny is the votes. And when the votes are rolling in from the historic elections that we had on November 4th until even as recently as last week, it is showing that people are wide awake and they are not happy with how this administration is handling everything from immigration to the economy.
They were in the house this afternoon or this morning, and Mike was going to send them home because obviously the Democratic House voted or are going to vote on the healthcare because, after January, primaries are going to go up. So he was going to send everybody home. Uncle Jeffries had put up a petition or some shit and had people signed that particular petition, all he needed was 281 votes. And when he got that 281 votes, that's when Uncle Mike started getting all pissed off. Keep in mind, once January 1st or January 2nd hits, grandma or grandpa are going to start seeing increases on the medicine. And that's all because you put this effort in office. I can't stand JD Vance either. But guess what? That's what happens when you... Oh. And speaking of the devil, oh, look at this. Speaking of which...
Jeffries down the steps where he will stand with Democrats united. This is Congresswoman Joy.
Sorry.
Democrats have been united in sounding the alarm on the healthcare crisis that Republicans are creating in this country. It started with Republicans' budget and their big ugly bill, the largest cut in healthcare in U.S. history. And now, Speaker Johnson's refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Of course, we know that this is nothing new for Republicans. For more than a decade, they have been hell-bent on repealing the Affordable Care Act without putting forward an alternative in its place.
Mind you, that all this started because when they appointed Obama into office and he started changing very few things, one of them was given the Affordable Care Act for those who couldn't afford insurance. Obamacare is just that. Pick any type of insurance you want. But because his name is attached to healthcare, his name is still attached in a Republican race, in a Republican party, no doubt, in a Republican state. They still have a problem with his name. That's the only reason why they want to get rid of it. That's the only reason why, because of the name. Ooh, wow.
And as we saw this week, nothing has changed with House Republican leadership, but something has changed within their own ranks. Yesterday, 4 House Republicans finally joined with Democrats on our discharge petition to force a vote on a clean 3-year extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits. House Democrats know that Americans cannot afford to pay an extra $1,000 every year for their health care, especially in this economy. And when people don't have health insurance, they don't stop getting sick. They don't stop needing medication. They don't stop needing care for them and their kids. And as Leader Jeffries has said all along, this is the only real plan on the table to ensure that Americans' premiums don't skyrocket by the end of the year. We have the votes, we have the momentum, we have the American people on our side. Let's not waste another second. Speaker Johnson, bring this bill to the floor right now.
I don't know how you Republicans, I'm going to skip to the man himself, and then we're going to head to another particular topic, and you're going to love this one. But in all seriousness, I don't know how in the hell you support Donald Trump after all he has done for America, which is absolutely chaotic. and just downright just plain nasty. But you Trump supporters, you support great. You support great, you support family, you support thieving, you support cheating. You cheated your way in the election, but that's cool.
Successfully extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for tens of millions of Americans. American people deserve a vote today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, today. Republicans have had all year to address this healthcare situation. But they've been too busy trying to jam their extreme agenda down the throats of the American people. Republicans have been too busy enacting reckless tariffs that increase costs on everyday Americans by thousands of dollars per year. Republicans have been too busy gutting the health care of the American people. Republicans have been too busy ripping food from the mouths of hungry children, seniors, and veterans. Republicans have been too busy enacting massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors. And Republicans have been too busy treating the Congress like it's a wholly owned subsidiary of the Trump cartel. Let me be clear about something. We ain't down with any of that. House Democrats aren't here to bend the knee to Donald Trump. We're here to bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. We believe, as House Democrats, that the cost of living in this great country is far too high.
Good question. Who been giving billions to Somalia? Republicans.
America is too expensive. That far too many people, working class folks, are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck. Can't thrive, can barely survive. And the most important thing that the Congress should be doing is driving down the high cost of living to make life more affordable for everyday Americans. We believe that in this great country, that when you work hard and play by the rules, you should be able to live an affordable life, a comfortable life, to live the good life. Not too complicated in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. We believe that when you work hard and play by the rules, you should be able to live the good life. Good paying job, good housing, good health care, good education for your children, and a good retirement, which means keep your hands off our Social Security and our Medicare at all times. And Democrats believe in this great country, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, that access to high quality healthcare can't simply be a privilege that's only available to the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. We believe as Democrats that in this great country, healthcare that's affordable and accessible is a right that should be available to every single American. That's what we believe, and that's what we're fighting hard to achieve. Now, unfortunately, all year, the American people have been dealing with this Republican healthcare crisis that is devastating everyday Americans. And we're here to call it out. We're here to provide a moment of clarity. Republicans have enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers are closing all across the country, including in rural America, because of toxic Republican policies in their one big ugly bill. Republicans have launched an all-out assault on the Centers for Disease Control, the National Institute of Health, the Food and Drug Administration, on vaccine availability for children, and on public health. And because of the Republican refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, tens of millions of Americans are at risk of being unable to go see a doctor
when they need one. The Republican healthcare crisis is unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American. And our message to Mike Johnson is clear. You can run, but you cannot hide. The American people are horrified. Republican leaders are petrified, but House Democrats are unified, standing up on behalf of the American people to protect their health care. And so we're demanding a vote today on extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, today. And our promise to the American people is that we will continue to fight to drive down the high cost of living, continue to fight to fix our broken healthcare system, and we will continue to stand up for Medicaid, for Medicare, for the Affordable Care Act, for our hospitals, for our nursing homes, for our community-based health clinics, for the health care of every single American. House Democrats are in this fight until we win this fight. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care, and extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits now. God bless you, and God bless the American people.
Sidebar. Be honest. Who do you think? Who does he remind you of? Be honest. Who does he remind you of? That's what Republicans always run to. If you can't blame Joe Biden, they go to abortion. If they can't beat you in abortion, they'll beat you in transgender talk. That's what they do. It's the ultimate three things. It's the ultimate sin. The three ultimate sins is Joe Biden, transgender talk, or they'll escape to immigration. They'll always talk about immigrants. It'll never go away. They'll cry, bitch, and moan about immigrants. But let me give you a little history, especially with you FBA people. Did you know that your grandparents and great-grandparents, because you have 4 grandparents, you have 8 great-grandparents, you have 16 great-great-grandparents, so on and so forth. Few or more are, guess what? Immigrants. You are related to few or more immigrants. Some of you right now in this live stream are immigrants. But yet you kowtow to a white man who does not want you. He doesn't have your best interest. Sorry, not sorry. Does not have your best interest, sir, ma'am, whoever the case may be. Promises and undergoing promises and promises. Now, his first term is like, oh, I didn't say it. I didn't do it. His second term, yeah, I said it. I said it. You live in shithole countries. You live in shithole countries. You're poor. Why do we keep bringing illegal immigrants over here? Why can't we get any and everybody from Sweden or Norway or blah, 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 blah? He's made a complete mockery, a complete baboon fool of those who voted for him. And now look at you. Look at the situation that you're in. You ain't winning nothing. He ain't made deals with nobody. You're not winning anything. Have you been outside to do your grocery store lately? Has the price of gas gone down? Who lives in California? Has the price of gas in California gone down or has gone up? Those who live in New Mexico, has the price of gas gone down or has it gone up? Has the price of food gone up or gone down? 242 where? Where in what city? Has the meat market, the meat markets, has it gone down or has it gone up? We're still paying $3.50 over here. In LA, it's $5, maybe $6. Kenya, what is it? Wisconsin. A Republican state, no doubt. $4 or $5. Woo. $4 or $5. I paid $250. God dang, that's grocery money. That is grocery money. 243 in Michigan. That's because nobody wants to live in Michigan anymore. Nobody wants to live in Michigan anymore. I used to live in Michigan. I was born and raised in Lansing, Michigan. Nobody wants to live in Michigan anymore. $2.39 in Louisiana. Y'all lying through y'all freaking teeth. But I ain't gonna hold you. I am not gonna hold you. Let me see. Let's see. Because I think it is. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. What is the price of gas in what is the price of gas in Louisiana? So it's true what they say. It's $2.46 per gallon in some areas, $3.01% in one area. Let's see what the price of gas is in what is the price of gas in Cali. Jesus Christ! Price of gas in California. I thought he said he lowered everything. I thought he said he lowered the price of gas. $4.41. Damn. What did the I'm scared to see what the truckers had to pay for. That's crazy. How about Washington? Let's try Washington. Okay, let's try Washington State. The Pacific Coast has a problem. The Pacific Coast, where I'm from, has a problem. 466, Washington State. A little bit of ways from California, a little bit of ways from the state of Nevada. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right, last one. I want to know, or I already know. I already know the state of Nevada. I already know about the state of Nevada. How about Texas? Let's try Texas. One of the most largest states in a Republican state, no doubt. So in the Republican states, everything that is red, all gas prices have gone down. But in Democratic states, they only risen 1-2%. Okay. Alrighty then. But if Nevada was a red state, our gas prices would go down. The problem is mega think billionaires are because that was absolutely. Because they don't think with their brains, they think with their Johnsons. Of course. Because everybody knows that Texas is a Republican state. Or how about Florida? Florida, a Republican state. Let's go to Michigan. Michigan, mind you, Michigan is no longer a Democratic state. I think it doesn't take a rocket scientist. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see. If you are a Republican and you live in a Republican state where everything is basically red, the prices have gone down. But in a Democratic state like Nevada, it's obviously gone up. So let's not act stupid. How about the price of groceries? The price of ground beef. And the price of ground beef basically in let's say in Cali. The price of ground beef, it's gone up regularly, roughly 12%. Last week, this pricing is it? I don't know. You're gonna have to do it. California, Washington State, New Mexico, Nevada, and I believe North Dakota and South Dakota. Most of these states are Democratic states. Most of these states are Democratic states. If they were all to turn red, the price of gases, the price of groceries would have gone down. Now, let's get into the video of the day. Let's get into the video of the day, shall we?
Congresswoman, thank you for being here. Obviously, it's been a big day here in Washington. And over at the White House, the people I've been talking to, it's a lot of the fallout from the Vanity Fair interview, the comments from Susie Wiles on the record that they've been defending against. Obviously, the president famously does not drink and never has. But when Susie Wiles compares him,
thank you for the gift,
the personality of an alcoholic, and the way she described that, she meant that he basically has a view that there's nothing he can't do, nothing, zero, nothing. Do you agree with that assessment?
Really?
I disagree with that. And we saw the major fallout happen yesterday with his statements on the tragic murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. MAGA faithful reacted big time. And they called it out. It's all over social media. People, his supporters, including myself, we didn't appreciate hearing the president, who himself was shot. And after Charlie Kirk's horrific murder, we didn't appreciate, even if you don't agree with Rob Reiner politically, there was no reason for his statement to be the statement that he made.
Yeah, when he says, I mean, this was in the immediate aftermath of us finding out about Rob Reiner, and obviously now his son has been taken into custody. You've said that his murder was not about politics or political enemies. The president called him bad for our country and said he was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned.
I thought that statement was absolutely completely below the office of the president of the United States, classless, and it was just wrong. It's a tragic murder. It's a family ripped apart. And from my understanding, what I've seen on the news, it was drug abuse and mental illness. And many families across America deal with family members that are drug addicts or have mental health issues. And I think the president should have responded with compassion and talked about those issues. He didn't have to make it about politics. And I think that was, it was really below what we expect our president to talk like.
It's clearly also really tragic just for the Reiner family.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you have no problem calling out what the president said, but why do you think other Republicans have struggled to do so?
I can't comprehend it, but Caitlin, I'd like to point something out. Just last week, and I think the dam is breaking. Many Republicans may not have called him out, but last week, 13 Republicans voted with Democrats to overturn one of President Trump's executive orders, which enabled him to fire federal workers. We also saw Indiana Republicans vote against redistricting. He didn't call any of them traitors and call for primaries against them. But I would like to say that is a sign where you're seeing Republicans, they're entering the campaign phase for 2026, which is a large signal that lame duck season has begun, and that Republicans will go all in for themselves in order to save their own reelections.
You think the dam is breaking in terms of the president's iron grip of support when it comes to your party?
Absolutely. Those 13 Republicans that voted to take down his executive order last week, literally that same evening, put on their tuxedos and their evening ball gowns and went to the White House Christmas party. That's pretty bold.
What do you think? Do you think that message is being received at the White House?
I'm sure it's being received, and there's a lot of pushback happening. You're seeing it all within the conference. And just to be clear, Caitlin, I have a 98% voting record with President Trump. The only places that I've stood against him on are, of course, with the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and the discharge petition against destroying state rights when it comes to making regulation and laws on AI. And then a few other issues like bringing in 600,000 Chinese foreign students, replacing American students. And I'm largely opposed to H-1B visas and visas replacing American workers. So I've only broken from the president in a few places, but he came down on me the hardest. But yet he's got real problems with Republicans within the House and the Senate that will be breaking with him on more things to come.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that you have voted with him as often as you have if you listen to his recent comments about you. And he was really critical of you when I asked him about you saying that he needs to focus more on domestic issues than foreign issues. That was something that Susie Wells seemed to agree with in this remarkable on-the-record interview. She said that there need to be more talks about the domestic economy and less about Saudi Arabia is probably called for. Do you think that's a message that is breaking through with everyone but the president?
Absolutely. While CNN has been talking about affordability, all of a sudden, after Republicans got crushed in that election not too long ago, Fox News is all of a sudden willing to talk about affordability because it is a crisis. And health insurance is the coming crisis that we're trying to work on in the House right now, but they waited too late. Speaker Johnson kept the government shut down for 8 weeks. Not the government, I'm sorry, the House of Representatives kept us out of session for 8 weeks during the government shutdown. But yet we could have been in Washington working day in and day out, preparing for this upcoming crisis. In my rural district, I have 75,000 people that are on ACA tax credits. And here's the truth for the Republican Party. The large portion of those 75,000 people are Republican voters. And so this is a real issue, but instead of working hard to come up with a solution, they have waited to the last minute, and we're literally weeks away from those expiring.
Do you think Republicans are going to rue the day that those Obamacare subsidies expire?
It appears to be that way. There's a lot of arguments going on in the conference, and that's been happening all day today on the House floor.
Yeah, it seemed quite tense today between House Speaker Mike Johnson and some of the moderates who want to vote on those Obamacare subsidies. On affordability, the president is going to address the nation tomorrow night. He says to talk about, basically what a great year they've had since he returned to office. Do you want him to hear him say there's no inflation like he did last week, which is not true?
It's not true. Inflation, of course, reached its highest point during the Biden administration, and Americans know that. Inflation has steadied around 2.5%, so he can't say there's no inflation. However, what I would like to see from the president is empathy for Americans. Donald Trump is a billionaire, and he's the president of the United States. When he looks into a camera and says affordability is a hoax and just totally tries to make nothing out of inflation, he's talking to Americans that are suffering and have been suffering for many years now and are having a hard time making ends meet. And so that's not the right message to tell Americans.
So what does he need to say tomorrow night, in your view?
In my view, I think he needs to actually dive all in on America First policies. He needs to keep Air Force One parked in the hangar and stay away from foreign countries. He needs to stop the revolving door of foreign leaders into his White House. He needs to stop embracing Al-Qaeda, ISIS terrorists that were once wanted by the United States, who have now become the Syrian president, and stop calling people like me traitors. He needs to focus on the campaign policies that he promised the American people, not his big donors, not big pharma, not big tech, and not foreign leaders. He needs to focus on the people that stood in line in the freezing rain, the snow, the scorching sun, and all types of weather, and stood on their feet waiting to go into rallies to see him and to hear what he had to say. Those are the people that matter. Not the lobbyists, not the big donors, and not the people he wants to have at White House big parties.
You mentioned the few places where you've broken with him, including on the Epstein files and having those released. The DOJ deadline is Friday. And Susie Wiles was actually pretty critical of the Justice Department's handling of this so far. She said there is no client list, and it sure as hell wasn't on Pam Bondi's desk. Why do you think the Attorney General said that it was then?
I'm not sure. I don't have specifics on that, but I've listened to the women themselves. And the women themselves, a smaller portion of them, which is, there's a lot of them. They think there's around 1,000 victims. But a smaller portion of these women say that there is a list of men, rich, powerful men, that they were passed around to. Now, that's a list that they have kept to themselves, frankly, because they're terrified. These women don't have money to pay attorneys if they get sued. Every expense comes out of their own pockets. And after death threats that I've received, supporting and keeping my name on the discharge petition, for the first time, I can understand exactly what they've been intimidated by for so many years. So as far as what Susie Wiles and Pam Bondi were talking, I can't speak to specifics on that, but I can speak to what the women have told me.
Do you believe that the president is not in the Epstein files, or that he's in them, but he's not in there for doing anything awful, as Susie Wiles put it? Do you think that that's true?
The women have said that Donald Trump did nothing wrong, and their attorney told us in a closed-door meeting, and also told us elsewhere, that Donald Trump was the only one that helped them when they went to trial. So I'm believing the words that they spoke.
I don't. I do not. Because nobody believes her. She's no one cares. No one gives a shit. I mean, I give a shit about the victims, but no one gives a shit about Marjorie Taylor Greene, because anyone from that party deviates from Donald Trump. We have no empathy or sympathy for you. We just don't. So, hashtag, we just don't care. But hey, don't forget, tomorrow I will be going live tomorrow, and it's going to be kind of controversial because we want, as far as Jasmine Crockett is concerned, we want to tell the truth. We want to tell the absolute truth on when it comes to the black vote as it is being put. I'll go into details a little bit further tomorrow, but if you have not watched the graph is like 89% when it comes to black voters voting for Jasmine Crockett. As it pertains to the Latino vote, it's like 41%. This is pretty much even. 41%. When it comes to white folks, James has pretty much white folks' attention, but we expect that. But it's not about the graph. It's not about that. It's basically the black vote, because they say in the state of Texas has mostly I would say 80 or 95% compilation of black people in Texas. I don't know how many black people are in Texas. I can look it up. Because I'll tell you right now, in the state of Nevada, we're 13%. I can tell you in the state of Nevada, we are 13%. What is the percentage? What is the percentage of blacks living, sorry for my slow typing, in Texas? Sorry for my slow typing. So, popularity and race. So you have about, in a year, no, we want to do, why did this thing go up? Hold on. Why did this thing go up? Sorry about this, guys. Hold on. It's always something. Okay. Dude, come on. Whites, the population of whites is at least 54%. Blacks and African Americans make up 12%. American Indians make up 0.64%, which is very low. Asians, we don't want to talk about. Native Hawaiians, we don't want to talk about. Other races, we definitely don't want to talk about. But the majority of the voting of black folks are going to be going to Jasmine Crockett. Now, there are some people who say they're not going to vote for Jasmine Crockett simply because she is a black woman. And then there are those who say they're not going to vote for Jasmine Crockett simply because Democrats don't do anything for us. What are they going to do for us specifically? And I go, who is us? But we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk about that whole thing tomorrow. And if you have questions, get your questions in. This is going to be some controversial shit, but I'm ready for it. I am definitely ready for it. I'll give you my reasoning on why I'm voting, and I'm voting early. for Jasmine Crockett to get sworn in if she wins the primaries. Hopefully, with a lot of prayer and a lot of support, she'll win the general. But I don't think you're going to be convinced. I don't know. I really don't know. She will win the primary. She's going to the unemployment line. I think there's too many biases up in here, man. There's way too many biases up in here. Okay, so let's do a poll. Let's do a small poll. How many of you think Jasmine Crockett is going to win the Senate seat? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 if you don't think she's going to win. Put a 1 in the chat if you think she's going to win. Put a 2 in there if you think she's not going to win. And word to the wise, Gary, watch your fucking mouth. I got something for you. So Trump, I got something for you Trump supporters. I definitely got something for you Trump supporters real quick. I definitely have something for you Trump supporters. Hold on. I definitely got something for you Trump supporters. So I got ones thus far. I got some ones thus far. I got a 3. I'm very undecided. Okay. All right. That's cool. That is very, very cool. We finally got an undecided. I think that's nice. I think that is very poetic. I think that is very poetic and just. Says about his. There you go. And let's see here. And here's to all you Trump supporters.
Thank you, everyone. Donald Trump has every right to be proud of his daughter. Ivanka is a successful, Ivy League educated businesswoman, author, and mother. She's now helping run his campaign and introduced her father at the Republican convention. Yet at times, his fatherly praise is downright cringeworthy, like on The View in 2006.
I said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. That if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. That if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Not convincing? No? Not convincing at all? Yo. Who in the fuck? That better not be no porn. Is that porn? Thank you. I'm about to say that I don't need my shit shut down. No, hell no. Don't be putting no pornographic shit up in my live stream. You will be banned immediately. And let's continue with this weird shit.
Oh, it's so weird. Stop. You know what? You are.
So you would joke about dating your daughter? Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see if you take the next step.
Far from protecting his daughter from being talked about as a sex object, he has encouraged it multiple times on Howard Stern's radio show in 2004 and then again in 2006.
By the way, your daughter, she's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah. She looks more. Hey, your daughter, she's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah. She looks more of a. Hey, your daughter, she's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah.
You wouldn't mind a total stranger saying that about your daughter? Please tell me I'm living in. Please tell me I'm living in Mars or somewhere. Because this is some weird shit. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. And put a little sauce in the basket. Some of you fucking weirdos up in here. Just weirdos. Yeah, I'll come up to you. I wouldn't even dare do that to a human being. I wouldn't dare do it to a human being. Maybe AI. AI wasn't invented in 2005. Jerk off. Y'all some bots up in this motherfucker, for real.
She looks more voluptuous. Beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Your daughter. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah. She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
It alleged negative treatment of women.
No.
Asked about things the two have in common.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that. I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that. I can't relate that. Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Donald, with your daughter? What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
And you don't think he's a weirdo? But those of you Trump supporters, that's you. That is you all day. All day, every day. So, now, like I said,
Nobody respects women.
Shut your ass up. I almost forgot. Yeah, but like I say, I will be going live tomorrow. And all my Jasmine Crockett lovers and haters, I want y'all to show up tomorrow, show up early often, and show up and show out. Because many of you believe that she is unworthy, which is okay. Others believe that she is not going to make it because she supports the illegal immigrants. First ever subscriber. Thank you for that, French Toastman. Thank you for that, and thank you for the $10 donation. Thank you for that too. Thank you for that too. Some say that they're not going to support her simply because they've been through this song and dance before. But we're going to get the chance to answer all that and plus more on the We-On-Loc Nation channel. So let's do the wife, do the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the husband thing. And I will definitely see y'all soon. And oh, by the way, do become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. Do become a member and go to change.org. Go to change.org/swear in Jasmine Crockett for U.S. Senate. Change.org/swear in Jasmine Crockett for U.S. Senate. Don't forget to support the channel, and we out.